Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to have another young Indian with us today. Right now, we have with us Manan Arora. He is an economics graduate student, a master's student at a technical institute. So let's listen to him. Over to you, Manan.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to express that this is a great opportunity, but through the medium of these video pids, I think it gives people like us a platform to express our views, our beliefs, our achievements, and the experiences. And for the viewers, this is actually necessary because through our own experience and through our own lives, I think they will make an informed decision while pursuing a career in economics, or maybe they'll get some answers to these questions about how to go about these things. So thank you so much for organizing these video bits. So starting with a brief introduction about myself, I am Manan Arora. I am 22 right now. I currently reside in Delhi. I am currently pursuing my master's in economics from IIT Kanpur, as you said, a technical institute. And yeah, so right now, what I'll go through in this video page is, first of all, I'll go through my school journey, how economics came into my life, how I pursued economics. I'll talk about the various distractions that you get during this field, during this journey, about different career aspects, how to select one, how to be with one, and uh, and then overall, when I enter my graduation, I'll talk about how I manage things, how I manage the finances, how I manage how I manage the subjects, how I manage the research that I did, and all those things. And overall, the next we'll conclude with our masters on how things are going right now, and how does the future look, basically. So let's start with my school journey. Starting from 12th, I took up commerce with maths. So I initially aspired to be a CA. And that's why I took commerce with maths in my class 11th, and continued it in 12th, and went with the exams. So just fast forwarding to the 12th exams. So it was so I was preparing for my 12th very seriously, like 6 to 7 hours a day, devoting very seriously to these exams. But unfortunately, what happened was in my accountancy exam, so I did one very simple calculation error of, yeah, and that actually costed me a 5 to 6 marks. And in class 12th, talking about an Indian system, marks are actually a very important aspect for getting into one of the top universities at the time while we were studying. Now it is not there. So improvements have been made in the system, but at that time it was very necessary. So I couldn't sleep for 2 days. Like, what have I done? And like, how will the future look? And I got very worried. And that's how a normal person thinks at that time. You're not aware of what the career opportunity is when you keep your heart towards one thing. And if you make a mistake, or if that doesn't happen, you suddenly get very tense. You suddenly get very this thing. But to tell those people, I think you need not worry about them. Just go through the process, just do your best, and you'll achieve that. So based on this, and I made a couple of errors in some other papers also. I So what could have been a potential 97.5% stuck. I got 2.5% behind. I got a 95% in my 12th, and landed up in a average college, not great, of South Campus, Ramanujan College. So at that time, our boards actually ended in about May. I'm sorry, not May, June. Yeah. And our college started in November. The reason for that was COVID-19. We were from a COVID batch. Yeah. So at that time, in that space, we were not very certain about our career. We were preparing for things. We were preparing for for different exams. So that time, I was clear that I wanted to do a CA from the 12th, but then something's changed. I came across some real issues in the world. Like, I used to read about kafala system, how these Middle East capitalists and Middle East people actually exploited these workers out there by keeping their passports, and Like the work was back there, the work was very, well, yeah, the work was difficult there. The wages were kept at a competitive and lower, and these living conditions were very bad there. And even the recent news about the FIFA World Cup, that also highlighted how these workers were like mistreated and how their passports were kept. They were not allowed to visit their countries. And a similar case was read about the Southeast Asian countries, uh, about, I think, basically Pakistan and Bangladesh, of how there were some workers that were what in Hindi is called a bandhua mazdoor concept. So they had taken some loans from their what you call employers, and then they were not able to pay back, and they were working like through the whole family was working in some sort of an odd job, while they were not able to pay back the interest itself while doing these jobs. So the whole family was turned, like, this is what they call modern day slavery. So at that time I started preparing for it, and I made it. I want to pursue law, and I'll go for human rights law. I was very keen about it. I was not concerned with the money and all at the start, and I wished to go it with full flow. However, I was not able to clear CLAT, and I was able to clear CLAT, but I was not able to get into a good college. I was not able to get an NLU at that time. So I decided to postpone it further. There was an opportunity of 3+3. Right. So there is an opportunity of 3+3. So you do 3 years of graduation and then you do 3 years of law, as opposed to doing from an LLU where you do 5 years of BA LLB. So I decided I'll take up a degree in economics, and then after that I'll start with my ambitions in law. Right. So that's how I landed up in economics. There was also one more reason. Now, why specifically economics? There was also one more reason for that. So, back when I was in 12th, now this is not like, some people will find that it is a very stupid reason to pursue economics, but I still think this was one of the factors that actually shaped it. And I'll explain the reason why. So, once I was sitting there studying accountancy, and so I was reviewing through the books, and the syllabus used to change for every year at that time. So I asked my professor as to, at that time, sorry, I'm referring as professor. At that time, he's my teacher. Like, sir, I used to call him sir. Now we are required to call our teachers professors. But yeah, I said to my teacher, I said, why do NCRT or these organizations change the syllabus every year? Like, what is the reason behind it? Like, why can't they continue the syllabus? Now, the reasons that they give is because we want to update the syllabus so that there should be a continuous learning based on the time shift. But the response that I got from my professor was particularly interesting. He said, look at your book. I said, okay. I said, do you see a different, do you see it's a new edition? You have bought a new edition of a book. It keeps changing every year. So I won't say it, but I got the reason why the syllabus changed. And that was actually interesting to see how these relationships work, of how A leads to B and B leads to C. How does the world works? How does these business dynamic work? And the major reason for these is economics. So when someone says you, what are the economics of this thing? Essentially, what he's asking you is, how will it add a value? How will it add a value to all of us that are here? Or how will it add a value to yourself? Or how will it add a value of something that you want to pursue? That is what is basically economics at a very micro level. That's that's the understanding which I came in. The second reason was economics will help me to basically get a what macro level view of about everything, small things, everything in the corporate sector. At that time, there was no degree for finance. So if I wanted to select a bachelor's degree, I think a finance degree would have been better for me, but there were no good finance institutes in India. So I decided I'll pursue economics. I had a decent CGPA to get into Delhi University. So I went on with my goal with economics. Now, while in my first year was basically a little plain because we entered, it was Corona time, we had our classes online, we didn't know And the university exams were basically, I shouldn't say that, but they were very easy to pass because there was a lot of cheating and all going on. And yeah, so these exams were not very good. These exams were not very, what do you call? So back then you start to question yourself as to like, what do you have a future in this degree? Like, what should you do? Right. So I was struggling with the same question till my second year. So till my second year, I was struggling with the same question. But back then, when I was in my second year, someone told me that like you should start doing something. You should start doing something that might help you earn money, that might help you get things. So what? So that actually, so I started exploring things. I said that I need to pursue something. I need to do something for the long run. Let's start with something so that I can manage my own expenses. That was always with me. I always wanted to be independent. I always wanted to manage my own expenses and wanted to work for others, as these were one of the three things that defined me. So I went online and I started searching for something that could work. And then I found this website called Chegg. So what they offer is basically you solve these economics related doubts for people and economics related questions, tutoring and doubts, and they'll pay you for every question or everything that you solve. So that actually helped me earn a lot of money. And I was able to, not a lot of money actually, a substantial amount of money that actually helped me to finance my graduation and some of my lifestyle and some of my expenses. So that was actually, so that actually helped me go through this process, and I was very happy to tell my father that I have paid my fees, don't worry about it. So it was kind of a very beautiful moment. And I had planned many things like buying a bike or something with from the when I collect a little amount for that. But still, I'm not able to finance that. Well, let's see. Probably after a real job, maybe that will work out. Yeah. So back then in my second year, one of our professors got us into research. So she mentioned, so I really liked her approach, and it was included in our subjects. We had to write a research paper. So I went on, and so I went with one of my partners. It was co-authored by my partner, and we wrote a paper on upsurging consumerism, on a case study of US from 1950s to 2022. And not 2022, sorry, it was from 2021. Yep. So from that, we actually studied how the consumerism actually developed in US. We made a lot of these choice theory models, such as paradox of choices. We explained how these choices in the market, how a plethora of choices in the market, a plethora of marketing brands in the market actually has a choice paralysis. A person cannot think which brand to buy, ends up buying more of these things. And that's how consumerism grows. That's how people start purchasing the things that they don't need, and that's how consumption is booming in the US at this point of time. There was also, we explored a study on credit cards as well. As the credit card usage increased overall, the consumerism actually rose. We did our independent MLRM and regression analysis on this, and then we were very happy that we were able to publish this in Sophia School Beyond the Margins journal. Um, and so this was in the third semester story. In my fourth semester, this was basically for a course, but I realized that I had some certain interest in research at that time. So I began to do independent researches. I began to explore topics that would be uh, good, that would be that would add value, and that would be good, or that are unexplored, or that might be interesting to work with. So I came across something. I came across Bitcoin at that time. Bitcoin had a boom and a depression, but and there were I did a lot of literature review on that, and I came across that like, why do I was confused as to there were no clear papers on how does on prediction of the price of Bitcoin. They said that there were what you call, they did a lot of time series analysis based on previous year prices, but there was no paper which actually pulled in macro level macroeconomics. Basically, the what macro level trends influence the price of Bitcoin, and how can these trends help in predicting the price of Bitcoins. So I said to my so I said that let's explore this field. So I worked on this. I researched over these topics, found out, carried independent researches on something. Luckily, I was able to find secondary data. I didn't have to go through surveys and all. And then so I published one of the papers, which is published in Apurti Journal in Miranda House. And overall, from there, I realized that maybe my research skills are good, and maybe I want to do it again. Maybe I can help with this. Maybe I can help with my research. So in my final year, while I was what I had aspired to this what I had aspired from being a human rights lawyer, and this thing, I decided to pivot from the field, basically because there was one reason for that. I didn't have a backing, I didn't have a knowledge of how to get into that and how to pursue that. Uh, but I had knowledge about this. So maybe I recognize that if I work in public policy, if I work in government, if I work at a very international institute or something, I can help them with my research skill and this thing, and this will help me in the agenda of helping people, basically, indirectly through my policies and indirectly through the policies I frame. This will actually better the lives of a lot of people, and at a what do you call at a relatively faster rate as compared to a human rights lawyer. It takes a lot of time, and it takes time to fight these capitalists, maybe 10, 20 years. But with a policy, but as a policy maker, I think I will be able to make changes to these lives, and I will make people's living standards better. I thought that was the journey I would like to follow, and that is what the journey I would like to pursue. So that's why I decided I want to pursue my MSc. And the third year was actually a very difficult time because at that time I skipped college. I literally I used to go like once a week, and sometimes not even that. I was very serious in studying for my masters because I was very scared I need to get into an institute. I cannot take a drop because I just wanted to get into a good institute and start working on the journey as fast as I possible. So that was one of the negative drawbacks. Essentially, you'll achieve something whenever it's what do you call it's there is no age as to achieving something. At any age, if you achieve something, it's good. But that was my own personal motivation, that I wanted to achieve things early. I wanted to go. That's why I was very scared as to I wanted to pursue my master's. I want to pursue it early. I don't want to go for a gap year. And so I didn't, I said that I'll keep the college at sidelines. I'll keep on studying for the college, and I'll be focused on my master's preparation.
Yeah.
So in that way, so that worked so I went with full force. I gave it a year full. There were some times in the middle where I was like that, should I really pursue this? Is it worth? And sometimes a person questions himself, and there were some drawbacks that maybe I should start preparing for law or something. Maybe I should start. But then again, that used to hit me that maybe with economics, I think economics has rewarded me with money as well, and it has rewarded me with an opportunity to help people as well. So I think I will be able to develop a successful career in economics, where an economic related fields, and I will able to create a good impact in other people's lives. And that is essentially what someone wants, right? He wants some secured thing for himself, and maybe he wants to give it to the society, give some of his knowledge and things, and some way he can help the society. So I think both of these duties were fulfilled through this field. So I went ahead with this, and then I worked with what you call, then I gave my exams. Now the fate was not really right for me. I missed like there is a good institute called Delhi School of Economics. It's a very prestigious institute here. I actually missed it by 3 or 4 marks. So, and that was like one question. So if you could have got one question correct, you would have got in
Yeah.
there.
Right.
But yeah, and it was a little heartbreaking that still. But then I got into IIT Kanpur, and the thing was the second, and there was a lot of uncertainty here. The reason for that was that it was a pioneer program for economics and you were at a technical institute. So how do you like aspire, like how can you say that, how can you like you came with a certain expectation, right? You want to develop something in public policy, you want to do for further research. How can you fulfill that in a technical institute? Like one questions himself, one sees that is it right for me? How do I pursue it? So, but then when I went here, I actually realized with now with my 1 year completed here, I actually realized this is actually better than I guess all the institutes of economics in India. I don't know about IIT Delhi or ISI. I'm not sure about those two, but I think this is actually very better
Mm.
than Delhi School of Economics or IGIDR. So if any of the viewers would like to explore this, I think IIT Kanpur would be one of the best institutes to go for
Yeah.
masters in economics.
Okay.
And the reasons for this is the faculty is actually from very established US institutes. So there are some people from Cornell, some people from uh, NYU, some of them are from UC Irvine, and they are very experienced in their fields and they have a very good academic research background, very talented indeed, and we are working on some projects that are really adding values to this thing. So yeah, so these things actually, so these are the things that actually uh, are contributing. These are the things that are actually, that's why I think someone who wants to pursue, for someone who wants to go for PhD or maybe corporate job, I think IIT Kanpur would be one of the greatest institutes for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how my academic journey went. And yeah, do you have any questions related to that? Like, would you want to ask any questions?
Well, you just said IIT Kanpur is very good. The question is, how does it feel to be a social science person in a technical institute?
So I'll tell you in the initial stage, it's actually difficult. From a social like from like well, let's just say you're entering an institute from technical. So there are a lot of doubts and uncertainties, right? And we were faced with it because we were the pioneer batch, and we were like, how will we get placements in a technical institute? Like there are many, and specifically in an IIT, because I would say there are like what you call like there are BTech people who have cleared JEE Advanced, and many of these were one of the world's toughest exams, and they came in, they got good ranks, and they are going for placements and going for good opportunities here. We're competing against them. We're competing against the other master students who came here, and we are competing against MTech students. And there is a lot of competition here for placements and all. But what I see actually here that I cannot be sure about in other institutes, uh, from what I've heard from other people about the other institutes and what I personally see here is I have seen growth here
Mm.
from for every individual that was in our batch. Everybody has seen growth from the paths or from the journeys that they came from in the fields of economics, in their own personal goals and in their own personal ambitions about the future, about what they want to pursue. So there would be difficult times. It would be difficult to manage in a technical institute since it's not specialized for economics. DSC and ISI both, DSC, ISI or IGIDR both have an established placements background and yeah, basically an established placements background. But I think IIT Kanpur, relatively new right now, will eventually cope up because will eventually become popular and will eventually take over these institutes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Wonderful. So you've been through many zigs and zags. So what's the tips that you have for young people?
Yeah. So let's go with the first. So just do what you like. So the first tip would be very biased. it's my own personal bias. I'm not saying that you should do it or not, but I think it is very important to pursue science in class 12th, class 11th and 12th. The reasons for that is that in India right now, not many opportunities are open for you if you are from commerce or this thing. Although studying science opens a plethora of almost all opportunities for you. Like you can go into a scientific field, you can go into marine, you can go into army, some parts of army like Air Force and others. So I think start with taking science. I'm not saying you go for JE, engineering or medical. That is all up to you. But I think from a very biased perspective, I would say you should take science in your class 11th and 12th. If you are not clear about what you want to do. If you're clear about it, such as you want to do a CA or you want to go into arts, then you are very well to go with this thing. But if you're not clear, even there is 1% or 2% hesitation about these things, then take science or take a scientific uh, study, because that is what is the need. Because that is what you will. That is what will open doors for you in India. That's what you do initially. The second thing is, yeah, don't go into this rat race of what I want to pursue. Like, I don't want to go for engineering or medical. Just explore these things. Take time, go start searching. Say, let's talk to people. Maybe create a LinkedIn account early and start talking to people. What are their jobs like? What do they pursue, what type of work they do. Some people will respond, some people will not respond, but you'll get an idea about how things work. And the third thing is start exploring in your surroundings. Like see how things work, see how dynamics work. Like once when I told you about how my teacher told me about when I asked him about why does our syllabus change. So you need to be aware of your surroundings. What is happening? How will things proceed? How are things proceeding around you? So keep a brief thing about keep knowledge about your surroundings. How do you explore basically and keep a knowledge about your surroundings? How do things work, and how and keep a control of things. You should not just go in some habit or something. So it's very important for the young people to not go into bad habits. That is actually one, because I've seen many of my batchmates suffering from that, and some of them had their careers altered altogether because they got into something or the other, and then they couldn't get out of it. So keep yourself safe, keep yourself learning, and just explore it. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't be afraid to ask for things. The best is that they say no, but that doesn't affect you. You can still ask. And just be aware of your surroundings and go and explore things and choose the right path.
Okay.
That's
Anything
it.
else you want to add here?
Uh, no, sir, not from my side. I think I was.
Okay, I think then we can end the recording here, and I'll be back with another young person or an expert soon. Bye till then, everybody.